Imagine forcing a machine to feel grief. Not by writing lines of code that explicitly instruct it to cry, but by forcing its rhythmic core to slow down to 38 beats per minute.
Which, just for context, is quite literally slower than a failing human heart.
Right. Welcome to Hellcat's King of the Hill podcast. Today, we are opening up a really fascinating master source document to review the top 3 winning tracks from the bleeding edge of the AI music community.
And it is a serious deep dive today.
Oh, absolutely. If you are listening to this right now, yes, you've ever wondered how people are using artificial intelligence to not replace art but push its boundaries, well, this is the deep dive for you. We are treating this as a masterclass in modern creation.
It really is a masterclass.
Hmm.
And I think it's vital to ground our conversation right out of the gate by looking at how this specific AI generation process actually works. Because there's a massive misconception out there.
Oh, for sure. The whole magic button thing.
Exactly. People assume these human creators are just, typing, make a sad song into a text box, hitting a button, and walking away.
I have to admit, I used to be in that camp. It's so easy to look at AI and just assume the computer is doing all the heavy lifting, right? Like it's a magic vending machine for content.
Yeah, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The human creators we were talking about today are acting as meticulous directors.
Right.
It's less like conducting an orchestra and more like giving a master architect a list of psychological feelings, atmospheric pressures, and highly specific technical constraints, and asking them to build a house out of sound waves.
Wow. Build a house out of sound waves.
Yeah, it requires a visceral understanding of musical theory, production technique, and emotional resonance to get the AI to navigate its underlying algorithms and output the exact emotional state they want.
That makes a lot of sense. So to map out how these creators act as architects, we are going to walk through our winners in reverse order.
Sounds good.
We'll start with the gritty, street-level energy of our third-place track, move into the highly contrasting cosmic isolation of our second-place winner, and then we are going to dedicate a massive chunk of our time to unpacking the stark, freezing depths of the track that took first place, our King of the Hill champion.
I'm really looking forward to this. The emotional evolution across these 3 tracks is quite a journey.
Let's start the journey. Our third-place track is called 7-Eleven Halo Funkmaster Remix, and it was created by the artist I Am the Evil Twin. It snagged a very impressive score of 73.5.
A well-deserved score, honestly.
Okay, let's unpack this. Looking at the master document, the style prompts that I Am the Evil Twin used to build this track are just wild. They asked the AI for a muscular slap bass groove, aggressive funky prog, and drop-tuned metal guitars mixed with full funk brass blasts.
Yeah, they really threw everything in the blender there.
Right. But before we even talk about how the AI processed that, I need some clarity. I mean, I know what a guitar is, obviously, but what exactly does drop tuning do to the actual physical sound?
Sure, so drop tuning is a technique where a guitarist intentionally loosens the lowest string on the instrument.
Okay.
Because the string has less tension, it vibrates slower, which drops the pitch lower than standard tuning. It creates a much heavier, muddier, physically aggressive sound you hear constantly in heavy metal.
Okay, so I Am the Evil Twin is asking the AI to take that muddy, aggressive metal sound and smash it directly into sharp, snappy funk brass. How does the AI mechanism actually combine those without just outputting pure noise?
Well, that is where the concept of latent space comes in.
Latent space.
Yeah. The AI doesn't actually know what a guitar or a trumpet is. It has analyzed millions of audio files and mapped their mathematical relationships in a vast, multidimensional grid called latent space.
That sounds like sci-fi.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
When I Am the Evil Twin prompts for heavy metal and funk brass, the AI searches that grid to find the mathematical midpoint between those 2 distinct clusters of data. It basically hallucinates an entirely new audio wave that embodies the characteristics of both.
That is wild. And they didn't stop with the instrumentation either. To anchor that chaotic, latent space, I Am the Evil Twin commanded the AI to generate Tom Hardy vocals groove alongside a deep, low whiskey drinker voice, and then set that against parallel choir harmonies.
What's fascinating here is how they directed the AI to use those completely opposing vocal styles.
Yeah, another quick question though, what makes a choir harmony parallel?
Oh, right. In traditional choral music, different vocal parts often move in opposite directions to create complex counterpoint.
Yeah.
Parallel harmony is when all the voices move up or down the scale in the exact same intervals.
Oh, so they're perfectly locked together.
Exactly, perfectly locked. It creates a very thick, unified wall of sound. Historically, it was used heavily in early medieval church music, like Gregorian chants, to evoke a sense of divine unity.
Wow. So they are blending this gravelly, exhausted, street-level baritone voice with a vocal technique designed to sound divine, which perfectly mirrors the lyrical narrative, honestly.
It really does.
The setting of this song is a completely ordinary, sticky-floored convenience store, but the narrative is entirely about astral projection. Let me quote some of these lyrics.
Go for it.
Fluorescent lights and questions, searching aisles for a lesson. Something in her chest kept pressing, like a second resurrection. And then, as the track pushes forward, the astral projection hits. Time skip, mind slipping again. Born into the same old skin, different face, same origin.
It's so visceral, and listen to how I Am the Evil Twin supports that lyrical narrative with their production prompts. They explicitly ask the AI for tape saturation and claustrophobic dread.
Claustrophobic dread? How do you even prompt for that?
Well, the tape saturation does a lot of the work. It's an artifact from the era of analog recording. When you push too much audio signal onto physical magnetic tape, the tape can't hold all the data.
Ah, okay.
So it naturally compresses the sound, cutting off the sharpest highs and warming up the low
Makes
frequency.
the audio feel thicker, right?
Precisely. It creates a suffocating weight. So for the first 3 minutes of the track, you are sitting in this heavy, compressed, claustrophobic sonic space.
Yeah, you really feel that pressure.
But then you reach the ultimate realization at the end of the song, where the lyrics go, not the body, not the lesson, not the 7-Eleven, just the light turned back toward heaven.
Oh, that moment is huge.
It is. At that moment, I'm the evil twin. Program the AI to release that tape saturation. The sonic pressure literally lifts off your ears. The spiritual realization feels earned because the audio physically opens up.
The whole time I was listening, I kept thinking of this analogy. It's like finding a Buddhist monk achieving enlightenment in the snack aisle right next to the energy drinks.
Huh. That is spot on.
But I want to push back on the concept for a second. Does placing profound cosmic truths in a cheap, fluorescent-lit, linoleum-floored setting actually work? Or is it just, ironic? Does it feel less authentic than, say, a traditional hymn sung in a beautiful cathedral?
I mean, I would argue it feels much more authentic to the modern human experience. Most of us don't experience our deepest moments of clarity meditating on a mountaintop.
Fair point.
We experience them stuck in traffic or in the shower or, wandering a 7-Eleven at 2 in the morning. I Am the Evil Twin tapped into the fact that finding the cosmic in the ordinary is a distinctly human trait. They use the AI to reflect our own messy day-to-day search for meaning.
That is a great point. So 7-Eleven Halo was all about finding an expanding cosmic awakening while standing inside a tiny, mundane convenience store. To transition to our runner-up, we are going to look at a track that completely flips that idea on its head.
Oh, completely.
Speaking of finding the entire universe in a completely ordinary domestic space, that brings us perfectly to our runner-up. What happens when the actual expanding cosmos is crashing down around you, and you use it to shrink your world into the smallest, most domestic space possible?
That is the exact setup for our second place track.
Taking second place with a score of 84.8 is the track Sweatpants by Trippy track. And wow, they drastically shifted the sonic landscape here compared to our third place winner.
It is radically different. Trippy Track utilized prompts for ambient, drone ambient, and something called granular synthesis.
Okay, I have heard that term thrown around in electronic music circles. What is granular synthesis, actually?
Granular synthesis is this fascinating process where you take an audio sample and slice it into microscopic fragments, sometimes just a few milliseconds long.
Oh, wow, that's small.
Yeah, really tiny. These fragments are called grains. You then manipulate these grains. You can scatter them, stretch them out, overlap them, or play them at different speeds. The result is a massive, evolving cloud of audio.
So it's taking something microscopic and making it sound infinitely huge and shifting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is the exact thematic core of the song.
Yeah,
Trippy Track delivered a brilliant study in juxtaposition here.
it really did.
They directed the AI to simulate the vastness of the cosmos expanding and collapsing using those massive granular clouds. But then they paired that enormous sound with the most hyper-domestic lyrics imaginable.
Right. It frames the end of the entire world, the actual apocalypse, not as a tragedy, but as the ultimate excuse to just stay in bed with the person they love.
It's macrocosmic destruction versus microdomestic bliss.
Here's where it gets really interesting. I have to read some of these lyrics because the juxtaposition is incredibly sharp. Let me find it. Here. Quote, I am scraping out the peanut butter jar while planets vaporize. I see the majesty of cosmos in your sleepy eyes.
I love those lines.
And later on, they hit us with this incredible line. The astrophysics of a sweatpant is a masterpiece.
This is where Trippy Trek's mastery as a director truly shines. If we look at the psychological effect of their production choices, the sweeping psychedelic ambient drone they prompted the AI to create does something very specific.
What does it do?
The world outside is violently ending, but inside that room, the music is smooth, stretched out, and deeply comforting. As the lyrics say, no tragic screaming when reality is fracturing, just infinite affection we are manufacturing.
Oh man, rolling up reality into a mushroom cloud. I just love the imagery. The AI is hallucinating this massive world-ending audio landscape, but Trippy Trek keeps dragging it back to the couch.
Yeah, dragging it right back to the sweatpants.
Now think about what you'd do if an asteroid was actually plummeting toward Earth. You, the listener. What is your apocalyptic plan? Because I have to push you on the intent of this trek.
Okay, hit me.
Is this song actually about the literal apocalypse, or is Trippy Trek just writing the ultimate introvert anthem using the heat death of the universe as a convenient excuse to avoid paying rent? Because there's literally a line about avoiding paying rent.
Huh. I lean toward the latter, honestly. It raises an interesting question about how we use hyperbole to express intimacy. It's a celebration of intimate connection over cosmic dread.
Yeah.
Trippy Trek is saying that when you are truly deeply comfortable with someone, the outside world, whether it's a stressful job or an actual supernova, ceases to matter. The ambient drones they commanded the AI to produce literally wall off the outside world, creating a safe, sonic cocoon.
And we have to remember that sonic cocoon is entirely artificial. The AI doesn't know what a warm hug feels like. But Trippy Trek manipulated the algorithms to create a space where the cat is vomiting a rainbow on the tufted rug and you pull a pound of serotonin from a single hug. It's incredibly warm.
It is entirely built on the presence of connection.
Right. But what happens when that connection is gone? If Sweatpants is defined by the overwhelming presence of warmth and having someone by your side at the end of the world, our King of the Hill winner is about the chilling absolute zero of being left behind.
And that transition from total presence to total absence is jarring in the best way possible.
Our King of the Hill champion, taking first place with a towering score of 93.1, is feeder.exe Dils 1 RMX by X3 and Drucken. We're going to dedicate the rest of our time to this because the way X3 and Drucken built this entire piece on the concept of absence requires a deep, meticulous breakdown.
The restraint required by the creator to make this track is staggering. Let's look at the highly restrictive genius prompts X3 and Drucken used. They demanded an ultra-minimal post-industrial piano ballad.
Let's pause right there. When you say post-industrial piano ballad, what differentiates that from just a regular, sad piano song?
A standard piano ballad relies on warmth, acoustic resonance, and human touch. You know, the sound of fingers hitting the keys, the wood of the piano echoing.
Right, the organic stuff.
Exactly. Post-industrial implies a world where that organic warmth has been stripped away by machinery and urban decay. It's sterile, metallic, and cold. X3 and Drucken is asking the AI to hallucinate a piano that sounds like it's been abandoned in an empty concrete factory.
And they pushed that mechanical coldness even further with the tempo. They forced the AI down to a suffocatingly slow tempo of 38 to 52 BPM. Now, for context, a normal resting human heartbeat is roughly 60 to 100 beats per minute.
So it's incredibly slow.
Yeah, by dropping the tempo to 38, X3 and Drucken is forcing the music to literally operate slower than a human heart. It induces a visceral, physical feeling of lethargy.
It simulates a failing life support system. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is a masterclass in post-loss numbness.
Oh, absolutely.
When someone is experiencing profound, paralyzing grief, music with dramatic swells and crashing drums often feels completely inauthentic. It feels performative. X3 and Drucken recognize that. So they explicitly commanded the AI. No percussion at all, and no emotional swells.
They also added tape hiss and crackle artifacts, which is so interesting because in the third place track, tape saturation was used to make the sound feel heavy and warm. Here, the tape hiss just highlights the emptiness. It's like listening to the static of an empty room.
By forcing the AI into a space of flat, sterile reverb and a deadpan close mic male vocal with detached delivery, X3 and Drucken actively prevented the AI algorithm from falling into its default setting.
Which is usually that melodramatic sadness, right?
Exactly. Traditional melodramatic sadness. They removed the melodrama and left only the void.
And the lyrics perfectly mirror that void. Listen to this haunting opening stanza. Who is this corpse staring back in the glass? Chemicals swimming through gouged-out eyes.
It's chilling.
It is. And what makes it so disorienting is how X3 and Draken handled the pacing. They prompted the AI for distant hollow piano and long empty silence between phrases. You are listening to this hallucinated voice ask this devastating question, and then the AI just stops.
It just drops out completely.
Yeah, you, the listener, are forced to sit in this uncomfortable, terrible quiet before the next line happens.
It denies the listener the comfort of a continuous forward-moving melody. It makes you hyper-aware of the empty space in the room you were sitting in.
It honestly feels like being trapped in a sensory deprivation tank with your own grief. You are just floating in the dark, and your own dark thoughts are the only things bouncing off the walls. And then that chorus hits. Oh God, why do I keep diving deep? Knowing I don't know how to breathe. I'm drowning alive, a bottom feeder just waiting here. Waiting to die.
To achieve that sensory deprivation effect, X3 and Draken utilize sub-bass frequencies. We should quickly explain that sub-bass operates at the very lowest end of the human hearing spectrum, usually between 20 and 60 hertz.
You don't necessarily hear sub-bass with your ears.
Right, you feel it vibrating in your chest. X3 and Draken use it to create a sense of drowning pressure without adding any actual musical notes that might distract from the vocals.
It's all structural. Which brings us to the most perceptive emotional cue X3 and Draken gave the AI. They explicitly typed into the prompt, absence of pain rather than pain itself, alongside a clinical dystopian art film atmosphere.
That specific phrase, absence of pain, is the key to the entire track. They didn't ask the AI to cry. They didn't ask it to scream or rage.
They asked it to dissociate.
Exactly. They commanded the machine to perfectly replicate that terrifying stage of grief where a human nervous system is so overloaded with trauma that it just shuts down entirely. You become a ghost haunting your own body.
Yeah. And again, we have to remind ourselves, the AI isn't feeling this despair. The AI doesn't know what it means to be a bottom feeder waiting to die. It is a machine running calculations.
Which is why the human director is so crucial. It took X3 and Draken to translate the distinctly human experience of post-loss numbness into technical prompts so the AI could build the architecture of that feeling. They didn't just generate a song, they built an emotional environment.
It's like X3 and Draken mapped out the exact coordinates of depression and handed the GPS to the AI. So what does this all mean? When I look at a track like feeder.exe, I see definitive proof that AI music isn't just about churning out catchy beats or generic background noise.
Not at all.
When this technology is guided by a human being with profound emotional intent, it can articulate the terrifyingly clinical reality of identity erosion and post-human grief. It's using the coldness of a machine to perfectly capture the coldness of a broken human heart.
It really highlights the symbiotic relationship between human emotion and artificial processing. The machine provides the limitless sonic palette, but the human provides the soul.
Okay, let's pull all of this together because we have covered some serious ground today, moving from the hyperdense to the completely empty.
To synthesize what we've explored, the top 3 tracks from this master document show the incredibly wide spectrum of human-directed AI art. At the 3rd place position, we had I Am the Evil Twin using aggressive, drop-tuned funk to capture a gritty, street-level spiritual awakening.
A monk in the snack aisle.
Exactly. In 2nd place, Trippy Track utilized granular synthesis to create an apocalyptic romantic comedy, basically celebrating intimate connection against the backdrop of cosmic destruction. And finally, in 1st place, X3 and Draken stripped away all the warmth to plunge us into the harrowing, silent depths of dissociative grief.
Thank you for listening to Hellcat's King of the Hill podcast. Make sure to check the description to hear the full tracks and join the server if you want to play in King of the Hill.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. These human artists used bleeding-edge artificial technology to perfectly capture the most fragile, organic parts of the human soul. It makes you wonder, does teaching a machine how to express our grief, our love, and our spiritual awakenings actually help us understand those emotions better ourselves?